Hey everyone, it's Chantal Girardi from Online Business Marketing, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some takeaways from a conference that I went to recently. I'm part of a community called Business Blueprint, of which we have regular conferences and expert speakers to give us the what's happening in the world of business. And today I'm going to share with you some of the top things that I feel would be the most relevant to businesses who online market. Okay. So these aren't my own takeaways, and I always will give a shout out to the place that this comes from, as well as the speakers. So I will mention them, and I'm going to share with you today some of the wisdom that I was able to receive from this. Investing in ourselves on an ongoing basis, attending conferences, and mixing and connecting with industry experts, exchanging ideas, are fundamental parts of being a business owner if you want to continue to be successful in business. So number one was from Lisa McInnes-Smith, and the title I've given this one is Elevate Your Influence as a Purpose-Driven Business Owner. And for her, she really much centered on the profound impact of influence and how it shapes individuals, communities, and the world at large. It was all about strategies for becoming a more influential leader with a purpose-driven mindset. So it was really about not just the doing of influencing, but really on connecting as an influencer. So recognize the power of influence in shaping emotions and transforming lives. So true connections is about meeting people at an emotional level and connecting with them. Number two was evaluate your influence on a scale of 1 to 10, okay? Because if you can evaluate your influence on a scale of 1 to 10, thinking, how do I influence people, whether or not it's your families, your partners, your children, your online audience, rate yourself out of 10, and then, like anything, go, how did I get here to this number, and what can I do moving forward to get closer to a 10? Number three is embracing high value behaviors that resonate with your intended audience. So for example, I think this is really important, but when we create a product, many of us want to sell to everyone, but I can't say this enough. Trying to sell to everyone, you lose everyone. It is better for you to go out really hard about the values that you have, shout those values from the rooftop, and immediately, like a mirror or a magnet, you will start to attract people with the same values. And guess what? It's so much easier to sell from them because it's not selling, it's really alignment. So too many of us are searching the entire time for people who don't have the same values as us. They don't have the same value, they're never going to do it. Okay. I used to remember this in the fitness industry all the time. If somebody didn't want to lose weight and exercise, and they didn't have a goal of being healthy and fit, it doesn't matter how much they needed it, they're still not going to do it. It has to be a value. Okay, so keep in mind that genuine influence emulates from how you make people feel. All right. Prioritize building authentic connections to catalyze transformation. So in a private Facebook group recently, there's a survey around, would you hire a South African virtual assistant versus a Filipino virtual assistant? And a lot of the feedback came from around South Africans being quite abrupt. So I had to stop and think about it for a little bit. And then I wrote my very nice response, in that at the end of the day, that's really generalization. You can't really generalize a culture. You can understand a culture and how they grew up to say that this is how they are. And I know Angela does that really well. You can do that, but I think it's really important for us not to judge, but rather go, do they make an impact? And the story that I shared around this was that when I moved here and I realized that I was having communication difficulties and I was being perceived differently, I knew that I had to adapt the way in which I communicate in order to be better received. And that means we talk in a language that people can better understand us in. Now, having that awareness to be able to do that is what makes you different. So at the end of the day, in this particular example, if you were to hire virtual assistants and you wanted someone, it doesn't matter whether or not they're a Filipino or a South African, at the end of the day, if they had the awareness and the understanding that we communicate in other people's languages, and they were aware of themselves and willing to adapt, it doesn't matter what culture they're from. I'm sure Angela can agree with me. It doesn't matter what diverse background they come from. if they are skilled and take that learning and the lessons and apply it. So we can't really generalize and go, I'm not going to employ a South African because they are all like this. We can't do that. Okay, so, but I think the point over here was that at the end of the day, we need to connect with people on a deeper level. And that means we don't have to understand, we don't have to agree, change that. We don't have to agree with how they are or even want to be like them or even do business with them, but at least give them an ear. At least give them a listen or respect or just a general overview and understanding, because you still got to protect your energy as well of who you hang around with. Cool. So number 2 was The Science of Useful Thinking. And this was by Chris Hilder. And it was around how he believed it wasn't really around positive thinking, but rather around useful thinking. So is how you thinking useful to you? So that was a really, good insight. And Sally, we were talking about keynote presentations and having a different type of title that was controversial. This is an example of that. Useful thinking. Okay, so it, goes against the norm. But he says he's steering away from generic positive thinking around rather looking at pragmatic, useful thinking. And his wisdom discussed a few different strategies. So transition from vague positive thinking to specific useful thinking for tangible outcomes. So what outcome are you wanting to achieve? And then adopt the useful thinking that would support that. So what's useful for me to think right now? So positive thinking, I'm happy, I want to be happy. But if we're trying to work towards something, what is a useful thing for us? So for me, it was more around being more specific about what that positive thinking should be now makes it become more useful. That was my take on it, which I thought was cool. Craft empowering beliefs that propel you towards opportunities and success. And again, I love this because for me, I'm always strategy focused. Because I'm a D, I'm always outcome focused, D in the DISC profile. So for me, it's around if you're going to start taking on new beliefs, rather than just taking on the general beliefs, how can we make them specific to the outcomes of what we're wanting to achieve? How can we make them more specific, really nail down and make them more specific? Which is awesome because it's more strategy focused and coming up with the useful thinking beliefs, which I like. So number 3 was visualizing the present as an era of immense possibility, driving proactive actions. And I think this was pretty cool. And it was mentioned by someone else, the lady from Kiki K. Can't remember what her name is. Please put it in the box if you know who it is. But from Kiki K Creative, she did a lot of this in her presentation. And her presentation is all about dreaming to live. That's her signature talk, dreaming to live. And sometimes we try to over control what we think we want as the outcome, rather dream and feel into the feelings of what we want as an outcome, and then being hopeful and allow the opening of opportunities to be driven towards that. Kind of like I did in the breathwork session on Friday, where I want divine guidance and support and attracting these 3 key people that I need right now in my life. And then feeling, not trying to work out, I'm going to go on to this place to find them. I'm going to go here to get them. I'm going to do this to do this. But just feel how it would feel to have those 3 people, visualize the outcome of how it would be if I had those 3 people in my life, and then allowing faith and belief to create the process. So I don't get in the universe's way of delivering that. Okay. And number 4 is embrace reality with creative mindset. So again, don't get rid of your creativity. I say this all the time. Playing more and getting offline more and doing what we did on the weekend recently and grounding ourselves and having wine and cheese. I mean, Cheese J is a whole new J. Cheese J is a whole new J. Honestly, you've never seen anyone. It was like a kid in a candy shop. But the delight in her face was absolutely amazing. I'm sure she's feeling so much more creative this week just based on the wine and cheese on the weekend. But my point here is that we embrace our reality. We have reality, but our reality looks completely different when we have creativity. in our lives. When we have creativity and we're playing and we're taking time to be offline and we're taking time to be grounded, our reality now, our perception of a reality is so much brighter and so much more wonderful. And I hope Alison's smiling because she's just thinking that that's amazing what I'm saying. I was looking at all your foodie pictures on the weekend and going, yes, you know, you might be in Maryborough, but you're enjoying it with us. You know, you're doing it all as well. And it just completely changes the way that you deal with your online marketing and business just because you're doing those things. So again, it's just around channeling those emotions, because channeling your emotions and your dreaming and your feeling and your creativity so that you end up being more productive and more creative, and you problem solve at a whole new level that you didn't think was possible. So Chris's insights prompt you to infuse the present with purposeful beliefs, unlocking the creative problem solving that is inside of you. It is there, but it is blocked by burnout, stress, frustration, and negativity and everything. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you look after yourself. Sleep, eat, pray, repeat. No. But, you know, bicycle, repeat. Sleep in a camper van, cheese and wine, whatever that is. But making sure that you create those opportunities. And it's not once every 7 years that you do that. I was just talking to Paula on the weekend, and she was saying, you know, she owns the cattery, and she was saying when people come and drop their cats off, they are saying that that's their first holiday they've had in 7 years. And she hears this all the time. Whereas most of you know, I do 22 trips a year, usually. Like that's what I do every single year. And it's because I put it in my diary and I make it happen. It's because I choose to get offline. I had stuff to do, but it's not as important as me taking time to get offline so I can be here for you, be more present, problem solve, and be a better coach to you, but be better in my business as well. And if I get hit by bus tomorrow, I know that I had cheese and wine on the weekend. And I went out with a smile. I went out with a bang. Not online stressing. Okay, so number 3 was on collaborative growth. And this was really talking about unveiling the potential. And it was with Theresa Tarlington. Hope I've said that right. Theresa Tarlington. And it was just talking about growth and innovation from brands coming together. And there were just so many examples of how businesses are doing this right now to amplify their brands. But again, I'm just going to bring in the number 1, which was on connection. Values are really important. You've got to get in bed with people who've got the same values as you, because your audience will be the same. But I'm also going to say energetically as well. I think I was talking to Sally about this, and we were saying there's so many people who want to collaborate and do stuff, but they don't have an audience, or they don't want to put in the time, or they don't want to do their bit. So again, you know, put some time into dreaming about how that looks, but then also just have boundaries around that. Don't just say yes to everyone, right? So here's some of her suggestions. So embrace collaborative growth by creating compelling products and services that work together. Like I think she was talking about Jeep, and Jeep were talking about getting into more families, and then they created a Jeep stroller. So everyone with a Jeep wanted the Jeep stroller, and everyone with the Jeep stroller now wanted the Jeep, and they ran competitions and they did joint advertising. So, you know, just think about brands that you could collaborate with that are that basically on the same problem as you, but make sure they've got the same values and they're going to contribute energetically the same as well. So number 2 is combining strengths to craft an offering that resonates with a broader audience, as the example I just shared. Number 3 is capitalizing on cross promotions, brand collaborations, and joint ventures to amplify their reach. So another example is we do social media management for a power tool company, a very big power tool company, had no social media following at all and started from the ground. We have got a landscaper who is an influencer. We have collaborated with them, and we're not doing any paid advertising at all, and the results are absolutely phenomenal. Based on it's cost them money, but we're getting content from the influencer, and we're riding off that particular influencer's fan base, and he's riding off ours to now get other influencer opportunities as well. So it's about really thoughtfully doing it. And, Daryl's a perfect example of how that's done. He's really good at that. So it does start with stalking and asking. I don't have time to go into those two principles, but many of you know my ask principle, not ask principle, my ask principle and my stalking principle. Number 4 is access untapped customer bases by uniting with complementary businesses. So there are some businesses that are literally just skating by at the moment. And if you can get into bed with them, they would be absolutely amazing for yourself. Okay. So start visualizing that, start really dreaming about that. And then put yourself in the right position for it. So her insights encourage you to embark on a collaborative journey, leveraging collective expertise to amplify your brand's resonance and impact. So number 4 was mastering sales excellence. And this was by John Blake. And he had a 10-point strategy. So you might want to write these 10 down. I'll go through them very quickly. We are due for an entire sales masterclass coming up real soon. But it is really nice to hear sort of the difference between 2 different sales coaches and what they offer. So this is John Blake, and he delves into the intricate art of sales excellence by sharing the strategy for optimizing your sales process. Number 1 was engaging in leads rapidly, which means if you get a lead, you deal with them within 5 minutes. So if someone email replies, if someone messages or even comments within 5 minutes, how many of us, and I'm to blame, are leaving it for way too long? Within 5 minutes. Okay. He also had a strategy, and this is still point 1, where because people aren't picking up the phone right now, you do 3 calls within 2 minutes without leaving a voice message or without texting. You know how we say things change all the time, like discovery calls. You can't say book a discovery call right now. You have to say choose a time. Right now, you've got to make a call. If they don't pick up the phone, 1 minute later, you make another call. 1 minute later, you make another call. No voicemail, no text. By the 3rd time you've made the call in 2 minutes, they should hopefully pick up. So that's what's working according to him right now. Number 2, effectively qualify leads to identify the most promising prospects. And this is really important because you want to make sure that you do qualify your leads. You don't want just any leads coming in. You want to make sure that they're the right leads. So in my email marketing now, I used to always say to people, book in a call to discuss your next project. You'll notice now we're advertising our Black Friday, setting up a Black Friday campaign. And I'm straight away now not saying book a call. I'm saying, here it is. There's the price straight away. And that's how much it's going to cost you to set up your email marketing Black Friday, your Black Friday campaign across social media and email and your website. And that's how much it is. No book a call anymore. I'm just being forthright. There it is if you want it. Number 3 is implemented structured discovery to uncover needs and tailor solutions. And this one was really about listening more, really taking the time that when someone has a conversation with you, that you listen to them. And my strategy around this is to write it down because I'm not a great listener. I'm not a great listener. So I learned this. See, I'm very aware. I'm not a great listener, but I know as a coach, I need to become a better listener. So what that means is that I now get pen and paper and I write down what you're saying that you're struggling with, because it's making me a better listener. And I'm also keeping a record now of what you're struggling with, because I can then talk to you in your language and your words rather than in mine. So number 4 is presenting quotes with well-defined value propositions, emphasizing benefits over the price. So when we do our quoting, it's on the outcome of those specific things. It's not on the price and a fancy name. It's the outcome of it on the quote. Number 5 is maximizing conversions by asking for the sale and setting specific next steps. Too many of us are not saying, let's get started. Can we get started? If there are no more questions, can we get started now? Here are the next steps. Here are the next step if you wish to get started. We're just not saying that. We go, okay, call you back in a couple of days. Yeah, let me know if you've got any questions. But just by saying, do you have any other more questions? If there's no more questions, is getting started or the next step something that you'd like to hear about right now? Rather than, oh yeah, I'll call you back in a week and follow up. And you don't do it. So asking for the next step. Number 6 is, or the next step, okay? Because some of you, it may be the next step may not be asking for the sale right then and there, but I feel like some of you are not asking for that next step, and the next step is right then and there. Number 6 is leveraging premium offerings to cater to a range of customer preferences. It is very good for you to have a diverse range of what your offerings is, but really it should all fit under one umbrella so that you communicate under one whole umbrella, but then there's different arms to that umbrella. So for me, it's around skills, strategies, and systems online. That's my big umbrella. And then it's around, it's always around customer generation. So my umbrella is always over the same thing, but then I've got B2C, I've got B2B. I've got done with you, I've got done for you. So, you have your big umbrella and then you've got your diverse offerings. But remember that when you talk to someone, you price present, you only ever give them the offer that's right for them. Only when they say no to that offer, you'd go to the next right offer that you feel is for them. Not based on price, but based on the outcome you know. This is the best thing that would work for you because you're the expert. That's only going to happen if you listened. Number 7, embrace regular price rises to preserve perceived value and boost profitability. So, we all hear about the construction industry and how so many in the construction industry were so busy during COVID, but the cost of their materials went up, but none of them put their prices up because they were so busy. So they were paying more in materials, and because it was too hard to do it, they didn't do it. And most of their businesses have gone under now. Like thousands of businesses have gone under because they didn't put their prices up. So looking at your prices and making sure that that your price, that you are putting up price rises when you need, but also it gives your audience a perceived value of profitability. Number 8, establish an effective opportunity tracking system to manage leads. So basically just be more organized with your leads. At the conference, I said it's now taking 7 follow-ups. So, previously I told you it was 5. From the previous conference, it was 5. And I said to you, write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're now writing 1 within 5 minutes. 1 within 5 minutes respond. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 touch points before somebody buys. So using Trello, using a CRM, but too many of us are looking for new leads and you still have to go through the 7. So rather respect the leads you've got coming through. It's number 9, developing a follow-up sequence to maintain engagement and close deals. Again, if you track those 7 touch points, if it works, you can then duplicate it. Number 10, offering compelling back-end opportunities post-sale to enhance customer value. So this would be looking at what could you upsell people into after you've worked with them, obviously with the expectation that you've delivered a great result and there's a logical next offer for them. Too many of us are not then asking them for that. I did this recently with a business in the caravan industry. I was there on Friday afternoon and we were looking at their products and we were looking at frequently bought together offers. And we've now included most people buy this in a frequently bought together, but it wasn't being offered automatically at the sale point. We're now offering that on the sale point and they've now increased their sales at the checkout just by putting it in there, frequently bought together. But you've got to go in and have a look and go, somebody bought this, then somebody bought this, then somebody bought this. So if I offer that as my frequently bought together, it should work, right? Cool. So John's comprehensive strategy underlines the importance of prompt responses, structured processes, value-based selling, and ongoing engagement for sales mastery. Okay, so those are takeaways in order for you to be able to, transform your business. At the end of the day, conferences are not about passive learning. I was absolutely exhausted. For those of you who heard me present the following day, I was absolutely exhausted and brain fogged from it because there were such huge days. But at the end of the day, it's really important for us not to just take these learnings and do nothing with them. We've got to translate them into action and positive change for your business. So wisdom can steer you towards growth, connection, and success, especially because we understand that the landscape of entrepreneurship is ever changing. It changes all the time. You heard me just say it's gone from 5 to 7. Okay. You have heard me just put in John Blake's tip around calling and getting people to answer the phone. It changes all the time. So going to conferences, being involved in these live VIP sessions means you are hearing right now what is working right now. Online business marketing, and in today's training we're going to be having actually one of our long time clients, customers, and fans, Daryl Bancroft from Strikehold and Alpha LED Lights, is going to come on today, and he's going to share some of the takeaways from a conference that we went to recently. Both of us are part of a business coaching program called Business Blueprint. I always love to give credit where credit's due. And they have a timely tech section, which they share with us, and they give you heaps and heaps of different timely techs, but some may or may not be relevant to each of us. So I delegated and said to Daryl, hey, why don't you put it together just a few timely techs that you feel would be the best for our online business marketing VIPs, of which he's done. So we have got Daz's timely tech.
Okay.
So Daryl,
I'll try and share my screen. Let's make sure that works.
what have you got for us today?
Have we got screen sharing? Is that activated?
Yep.
Can everybody see my screen? Yep.
Yeah, I can see Zoom at the moment.
Okay, so I just want to get that. All right, let's have a look, see what we got here. So I've chosen 6 of my kind of favorite timely texts that we picked up from the Business Blueprint conference. Now these are pretty high profile AI ran timely tech. So everything I'm going to choose here is pretty much AI because it's so fast and furious. So I'll start with the favorite, which I found was 60 seconds, like that. Now, just making sure that this works. Now, bearing in mind, I'm working out the back of a van via battery today. So if I do go dead, it's because my battery's died. So this is a 60-second website creator. So we can create a website in 60 seconds, 1 minute. So let's just go full lighting and let's just create a website. This is how AI is just so fantastic in that market space at the moment. You can see the little blue line at the top. It's probably 20 seconds in. This will give me photographs. It will give me hyperlinks. It'll give me a complete website. So there we go. That's less than a minute. That was like 38 seconds. So we can put our emails in. We can put our URLs, etc. It's already got pictures coming up. Eventually, I can add all of the images in here. So this will give me a fully programmable website to go to market with. So that's quite pretty cool. I'm quite impressed with that. Now, my favorite, I want to show you this one. So this is what's it called? Bang. I've just got to find it. Bear with me. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, put the elevator music on.
Yeah, I need back. I should be in a studio. That's what I need. So, let's do this one first. So this is a generative. Just make sure it loads. So again, run by Adobe. It's like an Illustrator. So you can just let your imagination run wild. You can choose images. Again, AI, so quick. You can just create. You can get really funky. You can create virtual backgrounds. You can put yourself anywhere you would like. So I won't go into it because it's pretty full on, but if you want to look at that one, it's called adobe.com/sensei. So I don't know
Okay,
whether I can
awesome. Daryl, later today, when you're not on site, if you don't mind, you can just share all those links in the VIP Mastermind Facebook group for
Yep,
our VIPs.
yep. Now this one's a good one. So everybody that's got issues over Father's Day coming up, right? So what do you buy Dad? So here's your cool gift ideas creator. You can literally tell it, you know, what do you want? So what to buy Dad for Father's Day? Now that will now choose and generate the gifts. So I don't have to do any thinking. This is all done for me. Again, AI, really quick. It'll just come up with a bunch of lists in a second. There we go. I think I've just hit the, yeah. So here's stuff for Dad. So like make a choice there, but
So
it
here's the
takes
thing about
everything away.
AI. The thing about AI is you've got to put the HI into the AI, the human intelligence. So if you had to say Dad was a non-alcoholic, he was into golf, he's creative. If you put more information into it, it'll be more specific about the gifts that it gives you.
Yeah, but that's again, it takes away your thinking. Like Chantel says, you've really also got to think as well because you got to humanize things. Otherwise, you're just going to get you know kind of whatever AI gives you. So, but it takes away a lot of the thinking, and it's the snap of a finger. The website was less than 40 seconds. So it's just amazing what you can do with these things. So um,
So which
this
is
one
your
was cool.
favorite?
My favorite is Roam Around, which I'll find in a minute. This one's cool. It's you can create music and links. You can create your own music profiles. So you can actually create. You could become like a singer songwriter type thing. It's fun. It's really good. That was done by Dale's son, who went out and sort of chose some really cool stuff that beat sort of Dale. So it was against father and son. Um, right. So I'm just looking for a roam around. What is it here?
I didn't see that one over there, Daryl. Are you sure it's in here?
Yeah, I went through it all yesterday. Um,
Oh, there we go, down at the bottom. Yeah, Finney's Fast Five, up one up from that. Number 4.
so this is probably my favorite because if you're going away on holiday and you can't decide what to do and where to go, and you can literally, so let's say we're going to go to France and we don't know what to do, it'll just plan all your itinerary for you. Everything's ready to go. So you're going to wake up in the morning. There's St. Michael's Cathedral. It'll then take you into the afternoon to go to Villers Brestonu. And this can happen anywhere. So it doesn't matter where you go. Again, you just plan your itinerary around it. Very, very good for people traveling, and if you can choose all the your favorite places to go, places of interest. You
So
know,
I'm thinking I can put in Angela for lunch and I can put in Tara for breakfast in Brisbane, and I can say what bicycle track to do in Brisbane between, and it should give me my itinerary. So
exactly right. Yeah. So
I'm going to
it's
give it a go. So
yep. So it's pretty damn good. So okay, there. Let's have a look what we got here. So Bard was quite good as well. So this is an AI tool, pretty much like Chat GPT, same sort of thing. So I guess you've all tried Chat GPT, but let's just try podcasting, and it's just going to give me a bunch of interesting things around podcasting, and then I can create any content I want. Like it's how to do a perfect podcast. So again, just so quick, and makes it so easy for you to just do those things. So again, choose your topic, plan your episodes. I'm just getting into podcasting now, so I've been sort of playing with this a little bit, and it's so good. It really is accurate. Again, you've got to humanize it though and turn it into your own personal thing, because it does sort of work like a robot, because it is kind of thing. So, but that's a good one. So that one was Bard, Bard, and that's .google.com. So it's powered through Google. And
I've
now
heard
the
that
other one,
Google's working very hard because they're actually behind on the whole Chat GPT thing. But the thing about Google is that it has so much money and funding and knowledge, so that it'll catch up and overtake very quickly. So it is really important for you to keep your eye on Google created products.
yeah, Google are just growing so quickly, and a lot of the AI is all related around the Google.
All right,
And
Joel, well, thank you so much for sharing those with us. That's absolutely awesome. It's good to see those there. If you don't mind just sharing those in the VIP Facebook group, and then we will say goodbye to our audience that's watching online. But we're going to leave our online audience, and then we're going to go to our live audience right now, where Q&A happens and we ask for feedback. Examples of how it could possibly work in their business, but you do need to be part of our live audience. If you check in the comments below, you can see how you can become a VIP and be involved in the networking that happens beforehand and the Q&A that happens after this, plus the ongoing support in our VIP Facebook group during the week.